Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today I'm going to be doing a quick, super quick art journal layout called an abstract heart. And if anyone follows my YouTube channel already, if you were on my channel on Valentine's Day, you will have seen me do a page very similar to this for Valentine's Day. But I wanted to play around in this 6x6 journal just to see how this journal took different media and took things like dripping acrylic ink down the page, which is why I replicated that page. One, I really love it and I love the color combination of it, but this was really just experimenting in this little journal and seeing what it could take. So the first thing I'm doing is putting down some modeling paste onto my page, and I've been quite generous with it and quite textured with how I've applied it. You'll also notice there's some dots on that page, and that was from some leftover modeling paste I had on another page. I just put it through the stencil onto this page. So it's got some texture already on the page. Once I've done that, I'm sealing the page with some gesso so I can apply my next layers. So I'm just heat setting it as well. Now with modeling paste you should probably leave it for a few hours to dry. You can dry it with your heat gun, it's not going to affect it. Just make sure that the top layer is actually dry, so touch it and make sure that if you're going to paint over the top it's not going to move and still be wet underneath. So to do this page I'm going in with some pinks and purples and reds to create this sort of abstract blobs of colour across my page, which I really love. This is how I like painting, just being pretty abstract with it and just adding in colours and blending them together. You'll notice I'm not cleaning my brush in between. I like having the different colours on my brush. I think it helps it blend together better than just having a clean brush every time. But each to their own. So if you really like having clean brushes, you might have a few goes. I'm actually quite surprised I stuck with using a brush. Oh no, there I go, because I tend to use my finger a lot. So when things don't quite, or a brush doesn't get into the nooks and crannies I want, I tend to use my finger because it's the best blending tool and it's free and it's really easy to clean if you've got a wet wipe. So once I've finished putting down all my paint, I'm just going to heat set it, ready to do my next level, next bits of my journal. So one of the things that I found with this journal is I've been loving how thick the paper is. Now this is a Dina Wakley 6x6 inch journal. It is much thicker cotton rag paper. The cotton rag paper in the larger journals is much thinner, so if you put ink onto it, even if it's been gessoed, it tends to bleed through to the other side, which is particularly why I wanted to use this Dylusions ink, because that tends to go through everything. But I found that it worked really, really well, and there was absolutely no bleed through to the other pages that I was working on, which I loved. And means I love doing drippy things in my journals, but I've tended to stay away from them in some of my other journals because it just doesn't handle it very well. But now I know that this journal does. It's something I'm going to be doing a lot more of in the future. So where it got a little bit too watered down, I'm just going back in and darkening it up with the ink and just using a fine paintbrush to kind of cheat and put in those ink marks, and then going over and drying it. So just to be aware, the Dylusions inks are water reactive, so if I spilled water onto that page, those inks would move again. So just be aware, if you want to have something that's not going to do that, maybe using a liquid acrylic ink, that will dry permanent on your page. So now I'm just cutting out a heart shape from an old gel print I had that's got lots of mixed colours on it, and I'm sticking it down onto some book text. This is a French-English dictionary that was gifted to me from a friend, and I'm just tearing around the edge. I don't particularly like cut edges. I like having that torn edge effect. And to add a little bit of shadowing to my heart, I'm just going around with the Stabilo Oil Pencil and activating it just to give a bit of a darker edge to that piece, and then just using some paper towel to sort of sponge it off. So when I've finished doing that, when I'm happy with the placement, I will glue it down, and I'm also going to put some Tim Holtz quotes stickers in the middle of that heart. While I'm waiting for that though, I'm going to go into the background with some of this Inca Gold wax, and that will stick to the high points of the modelling paste. That's why I put the modelling paste in the background in the first place, to get those little dashes of gold spotted throughout my piece. Now I'm going in and just using some PVA glue, this Connect glue from Gina K, to glue down my piece onto the page, and using those Small Talk stickers from Tim Holtz. Be in love with yourself, I think it is, possibly, with the stickers. So I really love those stickers because there tends to be something for everyone in them, and they kind of, yeah, whether I'm making cards or in my art journal, I always find something that I can stick on my page without having to think about it too hard. So the final thing I'm doing is just adding on some journaling to echo the sentiment that I put into that heart. I'm using the Posca paint pens, both the fine black and the fine white. Make sure that you shake them up plenty before you do them, particularly the white. It is a very opaque white when it goes on, but you do need to make sure that you mix it up first. The other thing you'll find is when you're writing, particularly over a textured surface, it does write over it well, but it might catch on things and just splatter out a bit. Now I don't mind that personally, but some people might be a bit worried about sort of getting things splattered where they don't want it. So this is the final close-up of the page. I was really happy with how it turned out. It's kind of similar, kind of different from the original one I did on Valentine's Day, but I love both of them in different ways. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this project a go, and until next time, bye for now.